Happy rails to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy rails to you. It's good to see you again. Thanks for watching the channel and the videos. Sometimes they go real fast and sometimes they're slow. Happy rails to you. Glad you're watching. All right, I hope you can see what I'm doing. I got my second smallest screwdriver out. It really takes one small one to fit down in this hole so you can get down in this slot. I had a set of jeweler's screwdrivers and I need to buy some again. The old ones, I don't know what happened to them. They may be out in the shop in the bottom of my big toolbox. There we go. So once again, you see here this hole, and it's a little out around, and it needs to be a little bit smaller so it doesn't have all that slack in it. Now, the keeper will actually keep it in place, but it'd be better if, like I said, it had a smaller hole. I don't want to take the space up from my keeper because it has to sit down in this housing, this little slot area that's made for it. And that holds it in place, keeps it stationary. If I put it on the back side, it's going to take up too much space on the bottom. So we have a kind of a dilemma because I can't use a washer because it's too thick. So I might not be able to actually do anything with this hole. It's a little bit oblong, but maybe once I get the keeper in there and I get this repair done, it might be good. So we're going to do this repair first. And this is a fairly simple repair. Fairly straightforward. Don't have a whole lot of clearances that we have to work with. So it's going to be fairly easy. To make this happen. question is just how I want to do it. Whether I want to do it from the top or the bottom. I think I'm going to do it from the top. I want to trim this down a little more. Hate to use my trusty scissors to do it, but matter of fact, I don't want to trim it down too much because I don't want it. I want it to have all the strength that it can have, so that it will be durable in that area. Take my glue and put it on there. And then I would drop the piece. While that's drying, we're going to address the crack in the top. Now, ordinarily for this, I would use some super glue or crazy glue, but I don't have any more super or crazy glue. But I do have my Testors Model Struts. And I use it on almost everything plastic. And trust me, it works. That's what I want. I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm going to spread that glue out just a little bit because I don't want a big glob of glue sitting there. I want that area to be still relatively level because that's where the clip is going to go. And also, if I do it this way, I can actually, while that glue is wet, move this plastic around a little bit as the plastic melts together. And completely make that crack disappear. Put a little more down in there. Perfect. The old dirty shop rag out. Wipe off the end of our screwdriver there. If you can find these, they really come in handy. I used to have a bunch of these when I back in the 70s, late 60s, when I was working on televisions. And they're quick. You just stick them in your pocket, pin them in your pocket, and you don't see them much anymore. So whenever I run across one of these at a garage sale or wherever I am, I go ahead and I purchase it because they're really a handy type screwdriver, and it's got your Phillips on one end, and your standard blade on the other end. So, or flathead as they call it. And so that's really a great deal to be able to have that. Especially if you're like I am and you're out doing a lot of different things and you just need a little screwdriver. And you got it right there. Now, I just noticed that this crack actually comes all the way down to here. So what I'm going to do, and nobody will see this anyhow. Let's see what the front. And so we're going to go ahead and glue this up from the top side. We can't do it in the seat. That's where the clip goes. But we can do it in this area right here. And that'll stop that crack from going any further. We're going to put enough glue on it to seal it. And then we're going to get one of my world famous plastic strips. It's a little bit longer than what I needed. And we're going to put that strip right there. Glue it down. It's in a place that it'll never be seen unless you take the top off. And it doesn't hurt anything. It's not going to devalue. Its being there is not going to devalue the shell. I mean, yeah. Is it perfect? No. But it's an old shell. It's 1970s. So, and it's otherwise in really perfect condition. It has no other cracks and no chips. It's complete. So it's not really going to do that much, change that much as far as the value of the item is concerned. And if some of you are like me, you're not so concerned with the value of the item as you are with the play value. I keep messing with that because I really want it. I want to make sure all the air is out of the glue. So I really want a good tight meld and a tight seal. Now I always use my plastics, even when I use these bread ties, which is a lot of the plastic that I use, is these bread ties, especially for smaller projects, for patches, for strengthening areas. This is polyester or polystyrene, and it works great with models with these plastic bodies, plastic shells, because the glue that I use, the cement glue that I use, is made for plastic models, plastic bodies and shells for styrene. And so it takes the two styrenes and melds them together. So they become one. You don't have to worry about your pieces coming back apart unless you allow them not to seat. If they don't seat well, it's a possibility over a period of time. Maybe it could come back apart. Or maybe if you've washed it several times under hot water over a period of years, that in the age, it could come back apart. But for the most part, that bond will never be broken once it's complete. All right, getting back to this piece down here. It's drying up nicely. It's looking good. I think I can fit the motor in there now. This bottom side, check it. Yeah, it's looking good. Oh yeah. We're good on that. So we can put that down in. Can you look down in there? Can you see? This is the piece that I just added. This is the prong that sticks up the guide that's on the wheel chassis. And it's a perfect fit. It sits above the gears on the motor and does not create a conflict. Whatsoever. Turns easily. And now it keeps that from going forward. As when that was broken out, it would go forward. I like to just run that motor. Right there it stops on that track. So I say this, I think it's a track continuity problem. Okay, so first we're going to get up in here and pull this clip out. Got it taped to the inside of the body in here. Pull this tape back. And I decided, I looked back at another engine, and this is worn. But the biggest problem with it was the crack. And these holes are oblong. So it's actually correct. And without this piece that we put in here being broken out, that should correct the problem completely with it. With this crack being repaired, and this piece being replaced. So we're going to take the motor, set it in place. Going to take the clip, snap that clip back on there. If I had a real thin washer, it might take it, but I don't have a real thin washer, so you can't much do anything with that to that nature. Now they make special pliers for these clips, and of course I don't have any that will cause these clips to come out easier and go back on easier. What I like to do is kind of see if we can tighten them up just a little bit by squeezing them together a little. And then putting them back in place. It's actually looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to also do with this clip, change my glasses here, put my regular magnifiers on. Make sure that that screw's tight down. You don't want it over tight. And I also want to make sure my clip stays in place. Now there's a couple of ways you can do that. I mean, you can put a tab of glue on it, just a little dab of glue. Or you just take some tape, like I'm about to do. Cut it down a little bit so it fits the slot. Cut it down a little more. Put it onto it. Make sure you got your tape on good. Don't need it quite that long. Just want it long enough that it goes back in under and attaches itself to the shell on the bottom side. That kind of just gives it a little more, makes it a little more substantial. The way this is made, this piece in here, this sits down in this seat or this slotted area and goes in under the motor cap, I guess you would call it, and or rotor, and it locks it in place, stays there, and allows it to rotate. Keeps it from falling out. And you've got the ability to go a little bit forward, a little bit backwards. And if your trackage is 90% level, it should never be a problem with it, because it's kind of like a yoke and collar. And so it will go back and forth a little bit. And that's the purpose of this piece back here, is a guide. And in this light, when I turn it, of course, you can't see it. But that guide keeps it from doing other weird things. Okay. Now this particular engine is not lighted. And back in its day, it was one of the better engines, but it was still one of the not low budget engines, but one of the medium priced engines. Let's see if I can move this over here out of the way. Maybe. A little too far. There we go. Well, I got it off. I thought it was on, and I actually had it off. There we go. Now this is real light in the rear end. And I keep running it off the rear of the track. But that's it. Real simple fix. In real time, maybe a couple hours. You put the top back on, thusly. Goes down in that slot in the front and this slot in the back. And then you tighten the screw back up. What did I do with my screwdriver? And you don't want to get it too tight. Just want to get it tight enough. And as I say, it's better when you have the smaller screwdriver. Which I do not have. Well, maybe. Aha. Seek and ye shall find. I think we got it. And there we have it, the completed, repaired engine. Back up and going, running, and ready for service. Unfortunately, like I said, we don't have a layout up yet that can actually run those on. But maybe soon this year, something will be coming up. Lord willing, that I'm able to get back out and use my legs and actually move around and do some things. All right. Well, that's all I have for you for now. Just wanted to share that with you. Thanks to Jay for sending that out to me. I appreciate it. I did what you asked me to do. I repaired it and did a video on it. And I appreciate it. As I say, it was a donation repair. And so I've got myself a good engine, and he got to see it back in service. All right, that's all for now. Bye-bye.